welcome, or should I say good night, everyone. This is Israelite in America, and I'm coming to you guys with a quick one here. Just some information. And you'll have to forgive me, I'm recording this. It's almost 11 p.m. where I am. But anyway, I thought you guys might find this piece of information interesting, and I'm wondering if anyone else has heard about this. If you enjoy this kind of information like I'm about to be sharing, go ahead and hit subscribe. Give the channel a like. All right, let's go. Okay, yes, you can see the headline here, African Village to be built in Russia. And why is this significant? Well, I'll give you my thoughts in just a second. Let's read a bit here. Moscow, and I'm not Russian, so I'm probably gonna butcher some of these Russian pronunciations, but I guess Tver regions, Tver, I'm not sure. Plan to accept 3,000 families from South Africa. Okay, and we see the picture right there. I'm not sure what this guy is doing here. Maybe he's a excuse me, leader of some sort. But they're talking about South Africans. A rural community about halfway between Moscow and St. Petersburg has been selected as the location of an African village, quote unquote, according to the African International Congress in Russia. The project is part of a 5-year pilot program to settle thousands of migrants from South Africa. Really? Which migrants are we talking about? African diplomats joined AIC representatives and local officials from Tver region last week for a ceremony unveiling the symbolic cornerstone of the village, set to be built near the hamlet of, again, I'm not Russian, Poraish. We plan to establish 30 settlements in Russia for Afrikaners, right there, who want to immigrate, said the head of the Eurasian International University and general representative of the AIC in Russia, Konstantin Klimenko. These are Boers, farmers of European origin, whose ancestors settled in Africa many years ago. You see the language being used here, settled in Africa many years ago. Now, those of us who happen to know our history, or even just know a little bit about history, knows that this is an incorrect statement, just to say the least. But let's go on. Klimenko explained. I'll just call him K, because I'm getting his name wrong, probably. K explained. Many of them are now converting to Orthodoxy, and moving to Russia, attracted by our moral and spiritual way of life with traditional family values. The Afro Village is part of the pilot net. Can we talk about this right here really quick? You know, I shouldn't get sidetracked, but this rather annoys me. The Afro Village. Is it an Afro Village? Is it an Afro Village, really? If they're only accepting Afrikaners? Is it an Afro Village? The Afro Village is part of the pilot project currently underway in the Moscow and Tver regions with the goal of settling about 3,000 Boer families. Okay, it's about to explain what Boer are when it says Boer families. If successful, the AIC and its partners plan to expand it to other regions of Russia. Afrikaners are descended from Dutch colonists, or colonists, depending on where you're from, who first settled, again with that settled, colonists and settled in the same sentence. You see that? You got to be able to read in between the lines. You see that? Colonists who first settled around Cape Town in the mid-1650s. They became notorious for a system of racial segregation called apartheid, 1948 to 1994, that began under British rule but continued after South African independence was recognized. The country is currently ruled by the black majority, consisting of Bantu groups such as the Xhosa, Zulu, and Ndebele. Though the construction of the actual Afro Village, again with that, has yet to begin, the project organizers are working to set up a support system for the settlers. Starting September 1st, the EIU will launch an online program for learning Russian for about 200 settlers, Kay said. Okay, and that's all I'm going to read of this right now. You guys can look this up yourselves in your own time. Strangely enough, this has not been covered by any major news media outlet. Strangely enough, I haven't seen this on any of the major news sites, or even the semi-minor news sites. There, at the time I'm recording this video, I've seen maybe four or five stories, news organizations reporting on it, and this is rt.com/Russia. Okay, so if you wanted to go and look this up, in fact, I'll drop a link in the description so you can go to this very story and read on your own time. But just some commentary on my thoughts. It's very interesting because, first off, just to provide a little bit of backdrop, I'm sure most of you guys are aware of the tensions going on over there in South Africa right now, and the violence. And this is not to address that, and I have my own thoughts on that. While indiscriminate murder, of course, is never okay. It's not how Israelites should operate, or anyone else for that matter. But while I'm not going to put forward too many opinions on that right now, I will say you can only oppress people for so long, openly, and then off the book, so to speak. You can only oppress people so long before they snap. Okay, so take all that with a grain of salt. But anyway, it's very interesting. Africa has been war torn in certain regions, not all, in certain regions, at the behest, at the urging, at the actions of Europeans. Europeans have been infiltrating and messing with African politics and messing with African nations for years, and they're still doing it now. And it's because of Europeans that certain African countries are war torn, and yet we don't hear about this. No one has been like, oh, just come over here, you war torn. We're gonna build you guys a village, you poor Africans, you poor black Africans. We're gonna build you guys villages. Come over here and immigrate. But yet we see these descendants of these descendant Boers, which are Dutch descendants. And mind you, the Dutch, for those that don't know, the Dutch are just descendants of other various Germanic tribes, which, of course, as we know, were part of and mingled with the Khazars and under the Khazar Empire. But that's a story for another day. It's interesting how they're just, they get some heat comes on them, which again, I don't condone the shedding of innocent blood, but some heat gets on them, and all of a sudden you have a major world power like Russia talking about, hey, we're going to build you guys a village. We're going to build you guys a village, and you want to immigrate? Come on over, comrade. We will build you a village. It'll be okay. We'll build you a village, and we'll call it an African village, even though it's not actually for Africans. It's not Africans in the true sense of the word, It's for, what you say, Afrikaans, the white Africans, the Boer. I just find this very interesting, and like I said, this is not a major news story. Haven't seen any major organizations pick it up yet, but we'll see. I was wondering if you guys had heard of this, and what are your thoughts on this? I just think it's very interesting, and that's most of all what I'm going to say right now. I think it may have something to do. It may have tie-in, and this is purely me and my thoughts speaking here. It may have a tie-in to do later on with the shape and the way of the descendants of those people, of those nations, the Germanic descendants. Because those peoples, it's important for us to understand and keep in mind that those Germanic peoples that were part of the Khazars, or within the Khazar Empire, it is important to remember where they came from and how that might factor into a sort of return of their own, if you will, in the latter days. And again, that is just me talking. But we'll see. Let me know if you guys have heard of this and what your thoughts are. Like, comment, subscribe, share. This is the Israelite in America signing out. Appreciate it.